Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Weekend Wrestle Talk. I am Ben.
And I am Steve.
And we are dishing out the hottest wrestling takes every weekend for you. And if you're listening, thank you very much, first of all, for listening. But I just want to let everybody know the various ways you can get our podcast. The latest way is we are now up on iTunes, which I'm very excited about. Just go there, search Weekend Wrestle Talk, and you'll find all our archive and everything. I'm very excited about it because I listen to a lot of podcasts myself.
You gotta love it.
Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling, Joe Rogan Experience, all that good stuff. So if you have an iPhone...
You know, I think Tensai should have a podcast of his own.
Matty Bloom. Getting the obligatory Matty Bloom reference.
I love it.
Getting it out of the way early this week. All right, so we got iTunes. We're also up on YouTube. Again, search Weekend Wrestle Talk. You'll find us there. And, of course, on our website, www.wrestle-talk.com. And there you'll find everything we do, whether it be YouTube videos, whether it be tweets, whether it be touts, whether it be... In honor of the Elimination Chamber,
yes,
we actually put up a slideshow of every Elimination Chamber match ranked from worst to best. Mm-hmm. And Steve did this ranking, and no surprise, number one is Shawn Michaels winning the world title.
That was the first Elimination Chamber, though, Ben. So Shawn Michaels deserves that, but yet he was the best. World Heavyweight title, 2002 Survivor Series, first Elimination Chamber match. Number one, Shawn Michaels.
An epic match. And the worst match was the Extreme Elimination Chamber?
The ECW went from December to Dismember, I believe was the name.
That's what it was called.
And the pay-per-view only lasts like 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's supposed to be 3 hours. So you pay like $40 to see it, and all you get is Paul Heyman talking for like 20 minutes, and then that match. And right before I even started... I believe one of the superstars, I'm going to go with Sabu, was injured, so they replaced him with Hardcore Holly. Oh, boy. I'm always excited when I see a Hardcore Holly match in the card.
Man, it was a shame what they did with the ECW brand. I mean, it's like they almost tried to make it its own separate thing and try to keep it cool, but there's no way. You couldn't do it. And you couldn't do it. I mean, you knew WWE was behind it, so that whole underground, hardcore, that whole vision, that whole... appeal of it was obviously gone.
What's crazy, though, is I didn't read the dirt sheets then, and you and me went to One Night Stand, the second one in
that was
New York City with Rob Van Dam cashing in against John Cena.
You can see us in the crowd.
Yeah, in the crowd.
Especially during the main event.
I'm crawling all over people.
Yeah, you see Steve's skinny arms waving all over the place.
But we were there for that, and that night, that was the first time I saw a promo, and they were like, this Tuesday, ECW returns. And I was like, wait, what the hell's happening?
Yeah. I
was excited, and I was, in the first couple of weeks were okay, but that first night, the Sandman fought
the zombie.
Yeah. A little haha joke because it's on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah. Who've changed their name now. They don't even want to be associated with sci-fi, science fiction.
Of course.
Not the channel Sci-Fi.
Right.
But what was the point of bringing it back if you're just going to destroy it? Vince McMahon, his ego is so big, he just was like, you know what we should do is bring back WCW now and then burn it to the ground.
Yeah, that whole angle when they had the different brands. They had the WWF brand, they had the WCW brand, they had the ECW brand. It was a weird time.
I liked it when that night when Stephanie first appeared as the new...
Oh, I mean, when it happened, you're like thinking of how great this is going to be and all the different ways it went. Mm-hmm. And then when you saw it week in and week out, you're like, this, it's not the same. Like, they're not really competing against each other.
Well, of course. But that brought in Rob Van Dam and Tommy Dreamer into the WWE. Right. Because at that point, ECW closed and... No longer did you get to see these awesome guys, these superstars, and bam, ECW, WCW Alliance. Who do we need? Some more superstars. RVD shows up.
RVD, and he won the belt that night. And that's still the best wrestling event I've ever been to.
Me too.
That was damn cool. Because we never actually got to go to ECW when it was in its heyday.
I was too young.
Yeah, we kind of late to the ECW train altogether.
But YouTube has showed me many the classics.
We've caught up since then. And we're getting completely off topic here.
It's all right.
It is all right.
It's wrestling. We're talking about wrestling.
Right. And speaking of wrestling, this weekend, the Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, my.
You excited?
I could be, but there's just too many rematches and too many storylines in between some of the matches, so I can just like, hey, that person's gonna lose, that person's gonna win.
All right, so what are your predictions for the main event?
The Rock beats CM Punk.
Right.
But
so, go ahead.
But that's how I see it. But if Undertaker suddenly appears, you know,
I don't think he's coming back.
Undertaker? No.
I was reading on WrestleChat.net, our buddies, they do a great job. The latest on the Undertaker is he's just not in shape, and he doesn't want to come back and do a mediocre match.
Yeah.
You know, he's had shoulder problems, he's had hip problems, he hasn't been able to exercise at all. So the thinking is he's going to sit out this WrestleMania, going to come back, WrestleMania 30, and it's going to be his farewell because he's going to be 39.
I thought it was 49.
49.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. So, I mean, I don't think he's coming back for WrestleMania. But that puts into question, what's CM Punk going to do?
Well, then he could possibly beat The Rock. And then we have a triple threat match heading into WrestleMania, CM Punk, John Cena, and The Rock. Because CM Punk deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania. And I just thought, hey, let's put him and Undertaker in the main event of WrestleMania. And The Rock and John Cena can be second to last.
Yep.
That's what I always thought could possibly be what was happening. And then suddenly, you know, he just threw this into the ringer. Now I'm like,
It's true.
CM
Punk needs to do something. And it's going to be hard to build him up in a different storyline now. Like just a month before WrestleMania? Like how are we going to get invested in that?
49 days, 48 days.
But I think his whole angle with The Rock has been good. It's been entertaining. So yeah, why not just keep it going?
Yeah, The Rock.
Just throw John Cena in there. What the hell?
Just throw John Cena in there?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? He did win the Royal Rumble.
He did.
But no, The Rock and CM Punk, and the match is going to be no disqualification. So clearly Paul Heyman's got something up his sleeve. I hope the Shield shows up. And they could be, again...
No disqualifications, yet there can be a count out?
Sometimes, yeah. Because that's no holds barred.
Oh,
and it's different from falls count anywhere. That's what always confused me, too. No holds barred is not falls count anywhere.
Right,
I can, like, beat the crap out of you, but I got to pin you in the ring.
True.
But it's no holds barred.
No holds barred. It says nothing about the location someone needs to be pinned.
And then, like, falls count anywhere.
Well, exactly. But that could be... holds are barred, yet you can pin someone anywhere. And you'd have to combine the two. That's a street fight, right?
That's a street fight. See, there you go. Oh, my God. See, the combinations they come up with.
We're breaking it down here this weekend.
It's like triple threat. But Elimination Chambers tonight, and we have only one Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be... It's called Elimination Chamber.
I know.
Not, you know... But I guess it's not plural.
It's true.
So the title is
the chamber will be there. We will see a match contested in the Elimination Chamber.
But to see, the thing is, right now, Jack Swagger has just come back.
Yeah, and with a very interesting...
Dude.
Bigoted...
No, exactly. Thank you.
Bigoted angle.
Zeb Coulter.
Yeah, I mean... It's a little extreme, but it's certainly intriguing.
Man, I can't believe I'm going to try to find the quote right now. I can't believe he was talking about, he's like, I can't recognize these people, like different colored faces. What?
Yeah.
And that, we're PG?
Well, I mean, he didn't use any slurs or anything. And it's probably nothing that some people don't hear at home, unfortunately. We all have our family members who may have certain ideals that we don't agree with, but
what a mustache!
Yeah, well, he certainly looks the part. Let's give him that.
But see, what people don't know is he used to be Uncle Zebekiah,
right?
And he was Justin Hawk Bradshaw JBL's manager and Jacob and Eli Blue. Now, that name clearly sounds like a playoff from the Blues Brothers, too. They're called the Blues Brothers, but it's not spelled with an E at the end. It's just B-L-U. And Jacob and Eli. Elwood and Jake.
I do have a quote here from Zeb Coulter. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. This is not the land of the free and the home of whoever wants to cross our borders.
Yes.
It's our country to protect and defend. Pretty strong words.
Oh, my Lord.
And, I mean, like I said, it's a little extreme, but it's also interesting, and he's certainly going to get some heat in some areas. But unfortunately, he might get over in some areas, too, of the country.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought to myself, too. I was like, I can't believe that he is saying these things. And I was like, but there's going to be a group of people and be like, I love this character.
I know. Imagine a feud between him and Alberto Del Rio.
that's where I think we could head into WrestleMania.
Yep.
But at the same time, Mark Henry just came back too, and he's also in this Elimination Chamber match. So, two unstoppable people, Jack Swagger and Mark Henry. You're gonna have one of them has to lose,
right?
At Elimination Chamber, someone has to win, and so which one is gonna be Jack Swagger or Mark Henry?
Who do you think?
I don't want to see Mark Henry in the main event at WrestleMania against Del Rio. I don't want to see that match. We're going to WrestleMania, so I want to see the best possible match. I want to see Randy Orton win. I want to see him versus Del Rio.
Right.
That's what I want to see. Because I'm going to WrestleMania, the biggest marquee names you want in your biggest matches, and usually it's like 4 big matches.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mark Henry is a marquee name.
No.
He's been there since 1996, but he only just last year or a year and a half ago showed his true talents.
Yeah.
The Hall of Pain and just dominating.
So you're pulling for Randy Orton?
That's who I want to win.
Yep.
Chris Jericho's in it too, but he looks like he's on the road to WrestleMania with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, and I was reading something where he had an interview with, I don't know, it was a paper or something down in Miami talking about him coming back and how long we can expect to see him. And he was saying that he expects to keep coming back periodically for kind of like 2-month stints.
Chris Jericho?
Yeah. So, I mean, if Jericho were to win the Elimination Chamber and go on to fight for the world title at WrestleMania, I mean, it kind of seems obvious what the outcome of that match would be if he's not really going to stick around for more than 2 months.
All right, there you go. So, and then I believe for Mysterio, Kane and Daniel Bryan are also in this match too.
Yeah.
So
we've talked about what we think is going to happen.
Yeah. So like right there, you have intertwining storylines. So Daniel Bryan and Kane will cost each other the match somehow.
Right.
And so they're out. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger are both undefeated, but Jack Swagger could come back from this. Mark Henry, if he loses, suddenly it's like, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton, what's he going to do at WrestleMania anyways? What's he been up to? What has happened?
I know, we've talked about it on this podcast. He pretty much just is running through the mid-card, and
I can't believe it. But then anytime he fights a main eventer, he's a main eventer. Anytime he fights them, they beat him.
Right, yeah, he lost to Mark Henry last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I forget it's a business. It's kind of like a revolving door. But sometimes that door doesn't revolve for like 10 years. And then when you get to your point, it's like, hey, buddy, thank you for all your services. But you know what? You've messed up too many times with, just I don't know if he's doing steroids, whatever, but he got 2 strikes against him.
Yeah.
A third one, he's supposed to be fired forever. You think if he failed a third time, they're going to fire him forever?
I don't know.
But he seems like a liability.
Maybe they have to, and maybe that's why they're not really willing to put him into a valuable situation right now, because they don't trust him and they don't know. Mm-hmm. So.
And Rey Mysterio, same exact situation. I feel like every time you think he's going to get a chance again, they're like, we don't care about you anymore. Yeah. Like, he did a lot for them, too. The entire, SmackDown brand was, built around him for, years. It was him, Undertaker, on SmackDown. Nobody watched SmackDown except children, I felt, for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Well, and it was big monsters versus little guys with gimmicks. Yep. They had a 50s tag team, Deuce and Domino.
I remember that. From the other side of the tracks, right?
Yeah. With Cherry, who only could come down on roller skates. Yep.
It's like old school stuff.
Paul Burchill is a pirate. Yep. So, the Boogeyman.
I love the Boogeyman.
Well, yeah, but these characters are created and only put on SmackDown. You never would see their faces on Raw, unless they suddenly were like, John Cena, a white rapper. And suddenly he got over and they're like, holy shit, we're going to move this character over to Raw. And boop, hey Batista, we like your job, but you're going to go to SmackDown.
Where he belongs.
How do you feel about that? But I want to bring it back to Paul Heyman of the night. He kicked off Monday Night Raw. And earlier in the day, I worked for a TV news station, and they were talking about how the Pope had a big announcement, and his announcement was, he was retiring. Yeah. So as soon as that happened, you go to WWE.com, and Paul Heyman touted that he had a big announcement tonight too. So immediately WWE plays on the reality of what's going on.
Right.
I loved it, and so I started touting Paul Heyman back. And the first thing I said to him was, I didn't even think that this was anyone else's idea, and I was like, "Oh my God, Paul Heyman, are you going to announce that you're going to be the new Pope?"
There you go.
And bam, it was like I went on like WrestleZone